Absolve. Absolve means to forgive or free someone from guilt or responsibility. It's like saying, you're no longer blamed for what you did. It's giving someone a clean slate, wiping away any wrongdoing. It's a formal way of saying someone is cleared of blame or punishment. Example sentences. The judge decided to absolve the defendant of all charges due to lack of evidence. Through his charitable work, the philanthropist hoped to absolve himself of the guilt he felt from his past mistakes. Diligent. Diligent means being hardworking, careful, and persistent in your efforts. It involves paying attention to details, staying consistent, and putting in the necessary time and effort to accomplish tasks thoroughly. Example sentences. The student was diligent in studying for the exam, reviewing all the material multiple times. The entrepreneur's success was attributed to years of diligent planning and strategic decision-making. Euphoria. Euphoria is a strong feeling of happiness, excitement, and elation. It's like being on cloud 9, where everything feels incredibly good and positive. Picture this. You've poured your heart and soul into a project for what feels like forever. Then bam, it's finished, and not only is it done, it's a smashing success. That overwhelming feeling of pure joy and excitement that washes over you in that moment. That's euphoria right there. Example sentences. Holding her newborn baby for the first time, Maria felt a wave of euphoria unlike anything she had ever experienced. Finishing the marathon was a moment of euphoria for John. He had trained for months and finally crossed the finish line. Lionize. Lionize means to treat someone with intense admiration, elevating them to a celebrated and respected status. It's like when people treat someone with a ton of admiration, making them feel like a total superstar. Imagine fans going all out, giving intense attention and respect, basically turning someone into a hero or legend. Here are a few examples for you to understand. Did you see how they lionized the chef after that incredible dish? It's like he's the culinary king now. After that brilliant presentation, they're ready to lionize the intern. It's like she's the new genius in the office. Drowsy. Drowsy means feeling sleepy or on the verge of falling asleep. It is a state of being tired or lethargic, often resulting in reduced alertness and responsiveness. Drowsiness can be caused by lack of sleep, boredom, or certain medications. Example sentences. After a long day at work, I felt drowsy and could hardly keep my eyes open during the evening meeting. The medication prescribed for allergies had a side effect, leaving her feeling unusually drowsy throughout the day. Driving while drowsy is dangerous, as it increases the risk of accidents due to reduced alertness. Axiom. An axiom is like a basic rule or fact that everyone agrees on. It's a starting point for thinking or figuring things out, and we don't need to prove it because it's just considered obvious or true. Let's consider some real-life examples of axioms. Axiom. Red means stop, and green means go. This is a widely accepted rule in traffic that doesn't need constant proof. It serves as a fundamental guideline for drivers. Axiom. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius at standard atmospheric pressure. In the kitchen, this is a basic fact that cooks don't need to question every time they boil water. It's an accepted truth. Example sentences. Honesty is the best policy is a moral axiom promoting the virtue of truthfulness in one's actions. The business world often follows the axiom, time is money, emphasizing the importance of efficiency and productivity in economic pursuits. Feeble. Feeble means weak, lacking strength or energy. It can describe something that is frail or easily broken. It can also refer to a person who is not physically or mentally strong. Imagine you're helping your grandparent carry groceries, and they can only lift a small bag because their arms are feeble. Or think about a flashlight with weak batteries that flickers dimly. That's a feeble light. It's like when your phone is about to die, and the battery is so feeble that it can barely keep the screen on. In simple terms, feeble is just another way of saying something, or someone isn't quite up to full strength or power. Example sentences. His feeble excuse for being late didn't convince anyone. It was just a weak explanation. After being sick for a week, I felt feeble and couldn't lift anything heavy. the feeble signal on the radio made it difficult to understand the news broadcast. Heyday. Heyday refers to the time when something or someone was at the peak of success, popularity, or power. It's like the prime or golden era of a person, thing, or activity. It's when everything was going really well and flourishing. For example, remember those old Nokia phones everyone had in the 2000s? That was Nokia's heyday. They were super popular with long battery life and that game, Snake. But then smartphones came along and Nokia's heyday kind of ended. Now they're trying to come back with new phones, but those old ones were the best. Example sentences. The heyday of the ancient Egyptian civilization saw the construction of monumental pyramids and temples along the Nile River. During its heyday, the Roman Empire controlled vast territories across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Tedious. Tedious describes something that is boring, dull, or repetitive, making it feel like it's dragging on and on. It's like doing a task that feels like it never ends and doesn't bring any enjoyment or excitement. Imagine you have to copy a really long document by hand, like 100 pages, and it's all just the same stuff over and over again. You're stuck doing it without any breaks or fun stuff happening. That's what we mean by tedious. It's like a never-ending, super boring task that just drains all your energy and patience. Example sentences. Studying for hours without a break can feel tedious, but it's necessary to ace the exam. The long, tedious commute to work in heavy traffic can drain one's energy before the workday even begins. Somnambulist. A somnambulist refers to a person who engages in sleepwalking. During sleepwalking, individuals perform activities such as walking, sitting up, or even complex tasks while still asleep. The person is not aware of their actions during sleepwalking and often has no memory of the episode. Example sentences. The doctor explained that stress might be the cause of Emma's somnambulism, leading to her nighttime walks around the neighborhood. Henry's somnambulistic episodes became more frequent when he was sleep-deprived due to his demanding work schedule.